Wait, so how big was the Titanic?
Says here it was about the length of 3 football fields.
Whoa, that's a lot of ship to go down.
The Titanic hit the iceberg at 11:40 p.m. and it took about 3 hours for the boat to sink.
Duh. Didn't you see Titanic?
No.
What?
Are you kidding me?
You've never seen Titanic.
It's like a love story, right?
It's not just a love story.
The ship stuff is really cool. They rebuilt the whole Titanic exactly.
And the way the ship sinks, epic.
The movie focuses on people who board the ship. Kind of like Walter Lord does in A Night to Remember.
Speaking of, let's read the prompt. I got soccer practice in half an hour.
I got it. People who experience the same event often have very different perceptions of it. In an essay of at least 300 words, analyze how and why the experiences of the people in this passage differ and overlap.
Okay, so 2 questions. How and why?
Should we start with how?
Well, Walter Lord does change the point of view around, right?
Yeah, it starts with Frederick Fleet, one of 6 lookouts carried by the Titanic.
Ooh, and Fleet sees the iceberg.
But before that, we meet some of the other people on deck. The rich fancy people like John Jacob Astor and Henry Sleeper Harper.
Oh yeah, with their famous dogs.
So right away, we understand that this is a big story with lots of characters involved.
But hold up, even though we meet these other characters, we're still in Fleet's point of view
Until Quartermaster George Thomas Rowe.
Wait, how can you tell?
Well, even though we see those fancy people with their dogs, we're still looking at them. When it gets to the quartermaster, suddenly we see things through his eyes.
Yeah, it says he noticed what his mates called whiskers round the light. It's that phrase, he noticed, that tipped me off.
Wow, that's good, Tyler. Really specific.
Thank you.
Nice.
So I guess the point of view shifts again when we get to the line, Stuart James Johnson felt he knew just what it was. That phrase, he felt, that tells us we're in James's point of view, right?
You got it.
Okay, so I think we understand how Walter Lord shifts the point of view. But what about why? Should we take 5 and reread it?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are we doing this right? I mean, we figured out how Walter Lord moves the point of view around, even how it overlaps, but what about how it differs?
Good catch, Aiden. I think asking why he's presenting different points of view will get at that question.
So does that mean you have a suggestion, Maxine?
Well, I was thinking, we all know how the story of the Titanic's going to end, right?
At the bottom of the ocean.
Right. So I feel like if I were writing this, I'd be worried about, keeping it suspenseful.
But the people on the ship don't know how it's going to end.
Exactly. I think Walter Lord is using point of view to create suspense.
Oh.
But not everybody's worried. I mean, the first guy we talked about, Fleet, the lookout, he says the ice glided swiftly along the starboard side. It looked to Fleet like a very close shave. He didn't even know they got hit.
Yeah, you're right. When I read that, I was like, whew, they're okay.
But the quartermaster feels it. He says he felt a curious motion break the steady rhythm of the engines.
It doesn't sound so bad.
No, but it's not good either.
When we go down below the deck, all the dining stewards feel the hit, but they just think it means they're going back to Belfast.
Only they did.
It's weird. When I read this, even though I know how it's going to end up, I kind of hope it turns out differently.
Maybe that's what Walter Lord's intention is.
So it seems like every person we encounter has a different reaction. Some are worried, some aren't. Some don't feel it at all, while some feel it hard.
And as readers, our emotions go up and down. Oh, I just got seasick.
Okay, should we make a chart? I'd be curious to see what an actual diagram looks like.
Draft it up.
Okay, so we start from Fleet's point of view, low tension, uneventful night. Then he spots an iceberg and the tension starts to rise. He tells the captain and the captain's reaction is mellow,
I'll say.
and that makes the tension rise higher.
But then at the last minute, the ship sways away and then we think we're safe.
For now, but the quartermaster notices the ice in the air, which makes the tension rise. The stewards don't take it seriously, which makes the tension drop. And the chef's rolls fall off the tray.
Definitely a bad sign.
And now we notice the other passengers' reactions, and that makes the tension rise higher. And then finally we get to Ismay.
Ismay's a seaman, so he knows what's up.
Yeah, and when Ismay says that they hit something, we know that's bad.
Ooh, look, let me see.